Today I've got 3 running shoe updates for you, 1 brand new shoe in for testing, 1 updated feedback on a recently reviewed shoe, and 1 that I've purchased again. So I've got quite a few running shoes in at the moment testing, some that I'm really trying to push up to the 100-mile mark, but I now have another couple in for review, which we're going to dive into today. However, 1 doesn't need any introduction, and we'll save that one for the end. But first of all, I want to get straight into this and give you guys a bit of an update on the Saucony Shovara 14. So I just want to rewind the clock a few days where I posted my first impressions video out on this shoe, and I said this. Of course, this is just 1 run, and I am going to try a speed workout in the shoe, and my thoughts already are there's going to be better shoes for speed despite the weight. And I have to be honest with you, I completely stand corrected. So I took this thing out for a fartlek workout out on the undulating trails and concrete back last Friday. I didn't actually plan to, but I was kind of curious. I thought to myself, after the first run, I was blown away with this shoe as how light it was, how good it was. Just to recap, it is lighter than all the super shoes I've tested this year. So the Vaporfly 3, the Endorphin Elite, this is about 2 or 3 grams lighter, which is a real breath of fresh air. But I thought, do you know what? Let's test it on a workout. Let's take it out there and see what it can do. And it absolutely blew my mind. It was actually the fastest fartlek workout that I've ever done out on the undulating trails. I did 15 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off, and I averaged 5:06 per mile or 3:10 per K, which, although I had a bit of an erroneous run in there, an erroneous rep where the GPS wobbled a little bit, I think honestly it was probably more like 5:08 or 5:09 average, so 3:11, 3:12 per K. But either way, this thing was so fast. So I kind of wanted to give you guys a bit of an update there, let you know that absolutely this thing does do workouts really well, and since then I have also taken it on another run, and it really shines. This week I'm in kind of a bit of a mini taper week because I have a 10K coming up this weekend. I took this thing out for a steady or moderate 45 minutes, and my heart rate was so low in this shoe, which really surprised me because the foam is indeed softening up as I expected, but the efficiency in this shoe isn't going to be as good as, let's say, I don't know, a plated shoe. I find I'm really efficient in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s, albeit I'm not a massive fan of the shoe. I am really efficient in it, and other bigger, softer cushion shoes with plates in it, I'm going to be far more efficient. This is probably the most efficient non-plated shoe that I've tried, and I think a lot of it comes down to the weight, just how light it is. You just glide in this shoe. There is a rocker in here. You do feel like you roll through the side, through your gait cycle nicely. I'd say it's a gentle rocker. I wouldn't say it's aggressive in any way, shape or form, but it's enough to notice that when you're running, you do just kind of flow through nicely. So I got 45 minutes done, 6:45 or 44 per mile, and ended up running with a heart rate of 141 beats a minute. I did have a quick stop in the middle, but otherwise it was absolutely brilliant. So I did want to give a quick update on this one. It's been absolutely fantastic so far, 4 or 5 runs in, and it is still blowing my mind. And then we move on to the new, the OnCloud Eclipse. So you guys have probably seen a lot of this recently, I know, and I've seen Kofuzi's dropped a video for it. Ben is running, put some Instagram stuff out there. Ed Bud's done a review. I've seen a few people do it. I'm avoiding watching them all because obviously I want to make up my own thoughts on it, but yeah, a bit late to the party, but very kindly On have sent me one for the purpose of review. Excited for this one. Couple of reasons and a couple of things stick out for me when I got this shoe out of the box. This is a Max cushion shoe, 37, 31, 6mm drop, and the competitors for this look to be something like the New Balance More V3, the Hoka Bondi 8, that sort of realm. That's what I've been told by the On rep anyway. But yeah, the couple of interesting things. I tested the OnCloud Stratus 3 earlier in the year, and that has come out heavier than this shoe, which is interesting because the OnCloud Stratus 3, it was kind of geared up to be a little bit of injecting a bit of speed into it, which I've done some moderate runs in it, I've put some strides in it, and I do agree, it does move well. For a heavier shoe, it moves very nicely. I likened it a little bit to the Zoom Fly 5. It is about 20 grams lighter than the Zoom Fly 5, but it still moved really nicely, and I could pick up the pace in it. And that in my UK size 13 was 364 grams. This is 358. So it very much falls 6 grams lighter and very much within that daily trainer category, which excites me. And I've seen a couple of comments on Ben's Instagram where he's saying he might like this more than the OnCloud Monster, which makes me excited because I know that was one of his most favorite mileage shoes. So I really am excited to try it, and that is going to be something that gets tried this week. And if I get a chance to get a couple of runs in it, I'll make sure I drop that video video on Saturday, probably this week. The second thing that's really interesting I'm noting with On this year in their shoes, these cloud pods are now slanted. And I know in previous versions they were vertical. And I'm wondering now, the more testing they do, they're finding that as the midsole foam compresses, it's probably better for the runner to have these pods at a slant. Maybe when they're vertical, they're not quite giving the energy return that a slanted pod would, especially if you're leaning forward. The pods are kind of going in that same motion that the shoe is going in. And so when you squeeze it, it's giving you a better bounce back. I don't know the tech, I don't know the reasons why, but we do have a double Cloud Tech foam here, exactly like in the OnCloud Stratus 3. And I just thought it was really interesting to pick these up again and now see that we've got the slanted on the cutouts going that way as opposed to vertical, as I said, like in the Stratus. So yeah, excited to test this one, another new one in, hopefully video on that one coming soon. And the returning, the final shoe, we have the Brooks Hyperion Max. So it needs no introduction. If you've been following the channel, you know how much I love this shoe. Now, full clarification, the first Brooks Hyperion Max that I got sent to me by Brooks earlier in the year, as I just said, it was sent to me for the purpose of review, and that shoe was effectively probably one of the reasons why I have one of the best training blocks throughout a marathon that I can ever remember. I was looking for a non-plated shoe with some good stack, good cushioning, firmer, but it hogged all the miles that I didn't use a plated shoe in. So most of my long runs were done in this shoe. Most of my marathon pace work was done in this shoe. And in the span of one training block and a little bit, I got 416 miles in the shoe, which is just over there in the corner of my office. And yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I don't like to use plated shoes too often in training. I do find that I get calf issues if I use them too much, so I do avoid them and try and just use them once a week if I can. I use them today on a session. I have a race on the weekend, but today's session was only 12 minutes worth of work, so I busted them out. But otherwise, I won't use a plated shoe too much, just as I said, once a week if I can. So it was a no-brainer for me. Obviously, I love to review shoes here on YouTube. I love to test new shoes, and I am so grateful that companies send me shoes to test. It means a lot to me, and I love to deliver you guys new and updating shoes. But at the crux of it all, my training comes first. I'm a keen runner. I love to push myself, and I want to have the most successful spring 2024 marathon training block. And so I look back and I was like, well, what do I need? Well, at the moment, I haven't found a shoe that has replaced the Hyperion Max in my rotation. So I've purchased, with my own money, another pair. Thanks to the person on Strava that highlighted this to me. They were on discount, £112. And I managed to get a sneaky little extra discount, but not too much more. So I managed to pick them up at a really good price. And I just thought to myself, this is what I need for my upcoming marathon training block. This is what I want, and this is what I'm going to be using. But I am not using it until I start back with Will on December the 4th that week. And I want them to take me all the way through until my spring marathon, which, fingers crossed, will be London. But if not, I'll pick some other marathon and we'll give it a go from there. So there we go, those are the 3 running shoe updates. Now what really excites me with this Shovara 14 is I think this is going to be a really good pair to the Brooks Hyperion Max. Now it is a 4mm drop, so it does take a little bit of getting used to if you're used to running in things like 8 to 10mm shoes. But for me, with the rocker in this shoe, it doesn't quite feel like a 4mm drop. So I haven't personally noticed it, and I am really enjoying it. And the reason it excites me is I have another really fast non-plated shoe. So both the Hyperion Max and this shoe come in under 300 grams. In my UK size 13, 256, and I think this one was 289. So I've got 2 really nice non-plated lightweight shoes to at least attack the first half of the training block with. Hopefully this one will last the full block. We'll see what durability is like on this one and how long it lasts, but that really excites me. This pair right here could be really good. This really excites me because I'm hoping that it can take up some of the moderate mileage. So with the Hyperion Max, obviously last block I was doing not only the long runs, not only the marathon pace work, but a lot of my moderate and steady runs as well in them, which is why they went up so high so quickly. I really want to try and share the load a little bit more. I want to just reserve these things for those long runs and the marathon pace work. So if I've got other shoes like the Eclipse that can do the moderate work, that'd be great. I've got some great ones at the moment going through, but as I said, I'm trying to push a lot of them to 100 miles, and I want to do it with this one too if I can. I think the Stratus 3 is on around 50 odd miles, and there's some other ones up there that are really creeping up. So yeah, overall, I just wanted to share some updates on these 3 shoes. So a couple of questions for you guys before we go. Number 1, the Shovara 14. What's your testing been like in the shoes? I know a few of you commented on the first impressions video, but are you using them for workouts as well? I was absolutely blown away with how well they performed, and as I said, I'll be taking them out so much more over the coming months. They'll be a shoe I really do think that will get to 100 miles pretty darn quickly. And then, have you ever gone back? Do you bulk buy shoes that you really like? I do kind of feel a little bit bad because I do want to get new shoes in for reviewing and stuff like that. I appreciate that you guys like to hear updates on new shoes, but as I said, deep down, I've got to prioritize my training, and my training just works so well with the Hyperion Max, so I just wanted to get another pair. There were a few shoes that I was thinking about. Do I try the New Balance SC Trainer? Oh, it's got a plate in it. That was one that was really tempting me, but I just thought, oh, you're going to be running in a plated shoe every week and you don't want to do that too much. So yeah, that's why I've gone with it. I'd love to hear from you guys what your shoe is that you permanently go back to. Have you got one shoe that you just love that you stockpile so that when you run out of the first one or when it wears down, you can get a new one out of the box? Would love to hear those thoughts down in the comments below. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you in the next one. Until then.